Hey,
night, good
we
night.
live? Good night, man. What's up?
I good. This was
All
our pack week, boy, a pack week.
I could imagine. When you say pack week, you're talking about stuff you have to do or the
Yeah,
amount of
well,
releases?
I, right now we're talking about releases. Whatever I have to do is secondary. So right now we had a pack week of releases. I feel we
Uh,
still have some more releases before the month finish. So I think
this
October
week?
will be. When is this?
On this
Oh
week?
no, the Sony was this morning, but yeah, I think you have the Nikon that gonna release probably next week, the Z9.
All right,
You
all right.
have
Don't reset, don't reset. What else? I mean, we now starting. We still have some persons coming on. They're now seeing
true,
us
true,
on the
true, true.
live. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree. This week was crazy for releases. I
crazy,
mean,
crazy. Like
jeez. I
these
mean,
manufacturers acting like if people not in a pandemic and do have money. Like, yo, relax. Like, honestly, in my
mm,
opinion, all these releases could have just wait till COVID done. Like,
a little bit more, eh?
yeah,
Just a little bit longer.
let people enjoy what they have, make use of what they have, and when
Mm.
cash flow come back, then you drop these releases. But these companies, they care about
Yeah.
shareholders. Yeah, they
True,
are their
true.
money.
Then again, they probably had this stuff in the bag for a long while too. I mean, since the start of the pandemic, a lot of persons haven't really been dropping stuff. Sorry, companies haven't been dropping stuff. So
Correct.
for for all you know, they have been planning this for a while now, and we only now getting it because things opening back up slowly but surely.
Correct, because if you
Mm.
look at the photo events that got cancelled,
Right, right. Which ones got cancelled again? I
I
know
think it
you.
was NAB, Photo Plus. It was a CES, Consumer Electronics Show. That used to
Right,
have
right.
some camera companies drop in there. I used to look forward to at least the camera booths rather than the persons who dealing with computers and phones and all of that. I was more
Right,
about
right.
seeing what the big names like Sony, Nikon, even Sigma, Panasonic,
Mm.
and those dropping. But we had a lot of shows that get cancelled. So it could have been in the pipeline, and they
Mm-hmm.
just say, well, you know what? We just get it out and over with.
Yeah, especially before Christmas because Christmas is a
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
season.
After December, people don't have no money. So, yeah, they say that again now.
Yeah. Hey, look, Sean saying goodnight. Hey, Sean, welcome, man. They don't have money either. True. They're looking for the money for the shareholders for that nice
Yeah,
year-end report.
think about all the losses they would have suffered.
For real, eh? I think this week we saw news of Nikon. Was it this week or last week? Where Nikon had some reports of losses.
Yeah, boy, I feel it for them. I think on a daily basis, I feel like Nikon just losing money. Um,
Mm.
I think one big thing that Nikon needs to do is that they need to just give away their cameras to YouTubers in the sense that sell us a lie. We know that these YouTubers, in a sense, are always biased to what they get or biased towards the company because they want the company to continue to give them stuff and put out good reviews. When somebody drops a
Right.
review and say, hey, buy the A7 IV, as soon as that um, video is dropped, you see affiliate links, you see everything there one time. So it's like there's that kind of bias. I mean, why would you bad talk at A7 IV and then still drop our affiliate link to say, come and buy it?
Well,
So
I guess
it,
that makes sense.
yeah,
That
you
makes
know,
sense. That makes a lot of sense. We're technically now influencers are like the celebrities of the consumer world.
yeah.
I mean, they're just trying to get you to buy more stuff. Or at least so it feels. It seems as though they're almost like shills.
Because look at
Um,
this, right?
mm-hmm.
We had DJI this week. They dropped their nice, I think it's a Ronin 40. And as soon as
Is that
it
running
dropped,
40? Mm-hmm. That
like,
different though. Uh huh. Go ahead.
but as soon as it dropped, you had YouTubers with videos, proper videos that could have given you an idea if you wanted to buy this or not,
Mm-hmm.
right? Look at Nikon. Let's say they drop Z6 III tomorrow. Who
Mm-hmm.
has it? Maybe one YouTuber. And if that
Hmm.
YouTuber has it, it's like 2 weeks later. You understand? Nikon is almost a set in a stone age type mentality. You understand? So it's like
So,
rather than feed people in the sense that advertise what you have to persons and let it constantly be on their mind, it's like They're not concerned about that. They're trying to still be a boutique brand. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, they could die being a boutique brand.
Hmm.
Sony is all
What do you mean
about
by boutique brand though? What
boutique brand in the
exactly you mean?
sense that it when you look at the persons who get Sony cameras, right?
Mm.
Is a wide spectrum of person get Sony cameras. So if Sony drop a A7 IV, I sure we could have at least maybe 20 persons right now on YouTube
There
has
were
a
a
video.
lot though. There were
Yeah,
a lot
minimum.
though. I
It's a
mean,
cult. They have a prop.
when
Not
you
to
mean
sound
cult,
bad.
Rani, I disagree. When you mean it's a cult, nah,
Just
man.
like okay, all of we have we own little cults. But what I'm saying is that Sony has figured out a way to basically make people feel that whatever they drop is always the best. It's almost like an Apple mentality.
Uh
So
huh.
Nikon needs to figure out a way to make that happen. Remember what I say, when a Sony A7 IV drop, you have at least 20 people have that camera already put it through its paces. When
Mm-hmm.
a Nikon camera drops, I bet you when a Z9 drops, you might even see one, two photographers might even have a review on that. You understand where I'm coming from? So it's like, in my opinion, Nikon needs to do more to convince people that these cameras are good.
Okay,
You
I
understand?
agree with you there. I
They
can see
have
what
to
you're
do
saying there.
more,
But
you know?
besides just putting it in the hands of influencers, do you think there's anything else they could do? I mean, it
In
started
my
off hot and sweaty on Nikon case tonight.
I think they need to get more influencers.
Just more.
That's how I see it. I
Okay,
really don't have any issues per se with the Nikon camera system personally. I really don't have issues.
right.
I
Which
do
one you have
that
again?
this is
Which one do
six
you
two.
use? Sorry, the Z6
This
too.
is
Right.
six two. I
That's
don't really
how
have
you feel about that though. When you say you have
um
no problems.
I love the menu system for Nikon. I love how they feel in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the focus could be kind of a little quirky, but coming from a D750, it's like a night and a difference. It's like the difference
It's
between you
better.
get. Yeah, in my opinion, it's better. It's like by far better. That eye autofocus is just a beautiful thing. You understand? But I
Right.
see it's a needed upgrade. But overall, a lot of persons might have the Nikon camera and feel like they're missing out because they say, hey, well, Sony doing this, Sony doing that. But you might be shocked and surprised that the gap between Sony and what Nikon is putting out is not like it's this. It's
It's
not
not
like the
huge.
difference. It's not the difference
Uh,
between Apple and Intel. Right now, Apple with the M1 chips and Intel is like
uh,
but with Nikon, especially with the Z9, I think it's going to be like almost toe to toe with the A1.
it's gonna close the gap a bit. Cause
Yeah, yeah. I think it's
The Z6 has 4K 60 already, and
yeah, but it's cropped.
you 4K 60 crop. I could have swear it was full frame.
Yeah, it's crop. I hundred
So
percent sure it's crop.
so Sony actually behind Nikon, they now dropping their 4K 60 crop.
And everybody losing their mind. Like, yo, you think Sony was really going to give you all a full non-crop 4K 60p? Nah.
I mean, people had hopes. They
They
saw the
had
A7
hopes.
III. They saw the A7 III. What that was? What about 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah,
And they probably were hoping to get a replay.
and
It,
Bobby
it
said how Nikon's autofocus has been a shortfall. But in my opinion, yes
Actually, it
and
does
no.
great. Just not for
Yeah,
video.
like yeah, just not for video. But in my
But no.
opinion, it's true. It I have no complaints about the
Mhm.
autofocus system, really and truly. You
Yeah.
understand?
I think Phil's saying the same thing you're saying here. In this day and age, they need to get it in influencers' hands. There are some really nice features I never really saw in a review. Nikon is not bad, it's just a meme brand at the moment. What do you mean by that, dear Phil? I mean, meme brand? Is it that you're saying that
Oh,
where is it?
it just a company now to what? Make jokes
Hmm.
about. Like nobody
Oh,
can take them seriously, probably. Like it's just a
yeah.
joke.
I noticed that on YouTube as well. Some people even make songs about how bad Nikon is,
Yeah,
and it's
like
not really a really, is the butt of all the jokes. I can't really see. I mean, as a user of Nikon, I love Nikon. That's the first camera I had. I believe it was the first camera I had was the D5100. And it was an excellent camera. Even back then, they were topping Canon for everything except video. And over time, like you say, I guess people just bias after all the reviews and stuff. They just keep on Canon, 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 and then Sony started doing the mirrorless thing. So they pulled over a lot of the consumers right there, and like you say, they put it in the hand of influencers, which was the right thing. I mean,
Yeah.
even Godox got their start like that in a way. They basically shoved it in the hands of Manny Ortiz and who else? Who
Yep.
else? They made the career of some persons actually.
Literally, if you look at is Francisco.
Yeah, Francisco Hernandez, I
Yes.
Mr. Godox, even though he
From
says
day
he's not
one.
biased. Yeah, so it's kind of
Robert
amazing.
Hall, as Kyle would have chimed in, Robert Hall had
Oh yeah,
some
Kyle
excellent
in the back.
reviews on Godox.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
They even introduced persons to high speed sync, which was
Yeah.
a kind of a staple in portrait photography about 4 or 5 years ago. So I mean, it's unfortunate now that Nikon is being made fun of or they are not
Yeah.
considered a
Like,
real option. But if you actually use one, trust me. I mean, we have the Z6 II for rent. Persons who have used it have always been pleased. They say the autofocus is different, like Rani says. It takes a little getting used to, especially if you come from a DSLR. But once you get the hang of it, it's a pretty good hybrid camera. Very good.
like coming from the D750, I remember when I rented the Z6 one from you, Conrad.
Oh, the
And I
original Z6,
remember,
yeah.
yeah, the original. And to me, if you
Mm-hmm.
could get hands on that, just buy it. And I did a wedding, and I telling you, there was not one shot that was
Mm.
out of focus.
That's
And this
that's the
was with
one down in
adaptive.
Chagaramas. The
No, no,
wedding
no,
with
no.
the
This
not the
was
one with the fairy lights.
this was one that I think it was somewhere around where Jack Warner has his place, and we did some portraits on UB campus.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
like when I came back and I was going through the images, I was like in focus, and that was
Sharp,
that was
sharp.
basic firmware, sharp, 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 sharp,
Right.
and I was like, I was so like, what people want more than that? You understand? It's like
Yeah.
people want to catch Usain Bolt, and you have his eyelash in focus. No, like I when it comes to like at the end of the day, in
Mm,
regards to mirrorless technology and autofocus, in my opinion, having
yeah.
because I've had some experience touching the, I think it's the EOS R,
Hey,
touching
look
the
at that too.
A7 II.
Uh huh.
Like it's like a 1 2 3, you know, like a Jamaican woman in the sprint making 1 2 3
Oh my
with some
lord.
close, nice times. No, I'm telling
Ronnie,
you.
I just love your comparisons, right?
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, the autofocus for all these mirrorless cameras is literally like 1 2 3. You understand? For you to find something
Facts.
that to be upset with is a case where the brand ain't working from you. Because look at this, who you know
Mm,
really have a mirrorless camera, like a photographer, not a videographer, and
right.
say, "Well, boy, they don't like what they're getting out of the system, and they're going to switch." You know anybody? Like they say they have an E7 EOS R2, A7 III, and they be like, "I don't like the A7 III autofocus, and I'm switching over," and have
Switching over to
in
what though?
content. That's what I'm
Um, uh,
saying. It's close. Unless you're looking for maybe video features and maybe different type of lenses, something more unique, or you just feel like selling and you just want to experience a new system because that could be a valuable decision. Like I always say that how I would like to maybe try a system completely a few years down the road. Like even
right,
though I have
right.
everything I want in Nike, and I might say, you know what, let me just try another system completely. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I agree with you there. It's kind of how I ended up in multiple systems, where you see in these reviews online, and you want to experience it for yourself, because trust me, guys, watching a review online is nothing like, and I'm not talking about the experience like, oh, this is a better experience. No, it's more along the lines of persons come to their reviews with biases, even if
Yeah,
they
yeah,
claim
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't. They are already biased because they are familiar with what they are familiar with. So when they go to something fresh, you can't tell me you had a camera for um, a day and you already know all the quirks about the camera and you are fully and thoroughly, you understand this camera. No, it doesn't work like that. If that's what you're doing, you're basically doing a disservice to your audience. You didn't really experience the camera. You just checked out the features and checked through some options. So that muscle memory is really dread. Um,
Yeah, and I had that
uh,
with Nikon in the sense that looking back
mm,
at the older bodies, it's like I could have shoot
right,
with my eyes closed. You know, I was
right.
accustomed to that
D750.
muscle memory. So
That
it's like
D750.
even though the
Mm-hmm.
mirrorless is a step forward, there are times I feel like, boy, I just miss this camera. Like I
Yeah,
just feel like I just miss it. Like
you're accustomed to it.
give me back my D750, just switching
Yep.
a whole mirrorless system, and I could there.
I agree. I agree. Let's give some attention to the persons in the comments, and I believe Owen is standing by to come in. Owen, you hearing us? Let's have Owen come in. Hey, Bruce.
Pleasant evening, guys.
Good night, man. Good night. Good night.
Good night,
What's
good
the
night.
plan?
Good night.
I trying to graph through like you, you know.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
about even cutting it myself.
Ah,
Yeah, we'll see
All
how
I
that
need,
goes then.
all I need is
try
a
a thing.
sponge brush and ice it.
Try a thing, man.
Probably
Try
need
a
a
thing.
mattress at this level, guy. It real take me.
Oh Lord, Father.
So we're talking about
We talking about some of the gears. Rani was bringing some facts tonight. We have Sion in the comment as well. The comments are saying he's still in a wake. Hoping he could join us soon.
okay.
Sion saying that COVID afro. You all learn that too. Yeah. So Rani was bringing some facts. Tonight he just dropping bombs. He was talking about Nikon at first. I almost feel sorry for Nikon by Owen, but the man was beating up on Nikon. You say they need to put it in the hands of some
I
influencers.
tell you, this man unstable
I mean,
in all his ways, you know. It's one time he go telling it on the mountain, next time laying it on the
About
altar
Nikon,
sacrifice.
No, but
Understand?
Yeah.
all of these is a means to an end. You had to call out your company on the nonsense. You understand?
Facts.
If the government doing
Yeah.
nonsense, you had to say so.
All right.
You understand?
True. Yeah, you gotta lay it out as if we believe is something that they can improve. Hopefully, one day they actually listen before it's too late.
Hopefully.
You know, hopefully. But yeah, we wanted to talk tonight, and we have the audience here, guys. Please remember to share. Tag your friends, let them know we are on. We're supposed to be on every Thursday, but we're most likely going to be taking a little break as we draw closer to the holidays. But we still have a little bit of content we want to drop. Unfortunately, Sion is not on tonight, one of the few nights that he isn't on with us. But still, tonight we have Rani Horn of Rani Horn Photos. We also have Bruce, or Mr. Profoto of Bruce Lights Canvas, and myself, Affordable Imports, Conrad. Alright, so again, tonight we're just talking gear, and if you have any questions you'd like to drop on us, feel free, and we would respond. Again, any questions, let us know. And please remember to share, and I hope you all are on our CSS, that's the Caribbean Creative Space, CCS, group. We're looking to build that group for our audience, and it's not only for us, it's for you. We're hoping to get something going where creators feel comfortable to come to a space and discuss not just the latest gear, but the business behind being a creative as well. Unfortunately, yeah, safe space, a safe space. Air out all your worries and all of that there. If you want to find out how to charge and all of that, we have Sion with a whole set of PDFs for you.
Facts.
And we keep going. And Kosi, hey, good night, sir. I see you in the comments there. What else we have on tonight?
Well, we have somebody earlier asked if we thought the 7,000 US gimbal / camera / dinosaur. I just had that part. It's worth it.
The giant turkey.
It look like a turkey, right?
Yeah, it does look like a turkey.
Somebody say look like. Think about Littlefoot. You remember Littlefoot?
No, who's Littlefoot again? Yeah, I'm googling here.
That's a Brontosaurus dinosaur. Basically, it's a herbivore. Littlefoot.
Oh, let me see.
Wow. Brontosaurus. As if it was training something there. As we're talking gear, do you think a video production team can really benefit from that running 4D, or do you think it would be more economical to rig up a red or the like?
Well, I think Conrad could answer that because he just rigged up a whole red last night. So, how long it take to do that?
It took too long actually. If I had just read the instructions and I saw in the comments, it's like, why you just not reading the instructions? If I read up the instructions and it tilted, because literally as you saw it, there's what I did on Instagram. Um, it doesn't take long to rig a camera if you know what you're doing. But that camera, I think the benefit of that DJI, what is that? Osmo 4D is what they call it.
I
In
think
a
so.
sense,
Something I did like.
basically
Yeah,
same Osmo that was on the Inspire, but a redefined
right.
one in a sense.
A bigger one because it has a full frame sensor, right?
Hmm.
An interchangeable lens.
Yeah, the Inspire had interchangeable as well, I think, you know.
Yeah.
And the
I know. I
X5
think
and
that
the
was
X7
the.
camera. Uh huh.
You sure? I thought it was just the whole gimbal mount itself for the camera, and not necessarily lens on the sensor.
I think they had, I think, because I haven't flown an Inspires yet, so probably somebody could chime in. But the I believe they had the DL mount still, and they had some micro four thirds lenses and stuff that they were using on it. I think,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, but from what I look at, I saw what's this guy's name again?
who's
Full
that?
time filmmaker. They did a video on
Wallbeck
it.
is Wallbeck.
Peter
Parker
Walbach.
Welbeck. Parker
Oh,
Welbeck. But one of
Wallbeck.
his guys, they did a video on it. And to
Mm.
me it seems as though the Ronin 4D, thanks Philos,
Ah, thanks,
it
Phil.
looks like a one man band. Sometimes in those old westerns, you see a man with the guitar, the harmonica, the drums on the back, and all that stuff. To me, that's what that seems like. Because the guy had the focus wheel right by the thumb, one button to switch focus. Um, the So I guess if you're doing the manual focus, autofocus, it right there at your fingertip, and the filters right there at your fingertip. So it's more like you alone with this one thing out in the bush and one man production team. How I see it,
But
could be wrong, but
you saw how far, like they did a review of how far the wireless transmitter transmitted from, and I was like, let's say
The
if you
same
wasn't,
4D.
yeah, the same 40. Let's say you're in San Juan and you're by KFC. You're at the San
Ah,
Juan by KFC. It was almost like he was by Mario's Pizza and still
right.
getting signal. Jeds, that is a huge distance, especially for a film set. You
Right.
understand? Think if you filming one of those old time war movies, bomb dropping explosion, you all the way back out monitoring that scene. No, I'm telling you, I think it could be a hit.
I
I
mean,
think it's
it
a
have potential.
revolution. Yeah,
Oh,
like
good point. Revolutionary versus evolutionary.
yeah. Like when I saw I remember it was 2 years ago when somebody
Mm.
had a chicken and was doing the civilization. No, no, I'm telling you, it's real funny. And they just saw the chicken head just stick,
yeah,
right?
it's
They
Yeah, yeah.
literally that 4D is doing that. You are doing your hands like this, and it's just not even moving. Yo,
that's it.
it could be a hit. Like I'm telling you, if Affordable Imports has this, people renting
Mm,
that.
mm,
Affordable what?
mm,
Eh,
mm.
I'm not
I'm,
sure.
put,
I'm not sure.
I'm putting on scenes anyway.
I would I
what is
wouldn't
that?
I wouldn't recommend a company just jumping out and getting it because
Mm.
as Conrad had highlighted to us, GGI kind of has a little track record of dropping something and then pulling out their support. And you had a list of items. So I think this might need like a little year. Like if they release a second version, which I'm sure they would, you'll feel more
Yeah.
inclined like, okay,
You
they're
really
going in the
should.
right direction. Yeah, if they're doing that.
To me, I
Yeah.
think the lenses might be the Achilles heel for that one. Because
Serious.
it's as it stands, it's just like three lenses I think that
Yeah.
they have for it thus far, and the
Think
Right.
about
focal
all the
length not really
lenses you
that.
might have rest long.
Hmm.
Pardon?
No, I said like think about the amount of lenses full-time filmmakers already have rest down. Theoretically, you buying the system to just eliminate everything you have. I don't see it. If somebody just roll off the bed tomorrow and they lost all their gear, I might see
Mm.
them going into it. But I don't see somebody just having all these sexy like a glass cinema lens and then just be like, you know what, we're just going to buy this one camera. I could see it
Yeah.
as a B camera though. I could see it
True.
as a B camera,
True.
definitely.
Depends on how the footage cut and stuff, and how far you can push it.
Nah,
I
to be honest, I rather throw the C70 or the was it the Komodo on a gimbal and use that, yes,
still.
rather than go through all of that. Yeah.
Why, man? Not
Cause
so you
what
see
was the
no
price
split.
point of this 4D again?
Almost like
7,000
7. Yeah, 7,000.
starting.
That is the 6K,
Starting at
right?
7,000.
And there's a
Because
8K version. I
it's not
think it's a
4K and 6K they have out.
no, I think it's 6K and
6 and
8.
8K.
6
And
and
8K
8.
is like nearly 12,000 US. Yeah. So
It's a lot.
that's a hard pill to swallow. I mean,
Yeah. Especially if you
technically,
don't have lens choice, so you try and tell me you had to do like a revenant and run the whole thing in a wide angle lens.
There's a whole,
testing your creativity.
there's a whole card there, you know.
I could probably see it making sense like Granny see probably a B cam, or if you have a dedicated team and you need to have a camera just roaming, probably getting shots.
Yeah,
But it's
it
kind
could
of like
work.
overkill still in that sense.
Yeah,
so
but that's a hefty. You could get cheaper thing by.
But what? Okay, so what's a cheaper alternative you think though, Owen? What do you think could work there instead
You
of
see,
spending that sum?
that's a good question. We need to
I
price
let
out
you
the other
host.
rigs.
I try
I think
C70 on that normal. C70.
C70, so that's about what? It's 5 for that?
That's 5.
All right, but let's
Throw
but
that
let's
through
put it on
amount. Any lens. Any
Any
lens.
lens. Let
Any
me
lens.
pick a lens. Let me just pick a lens to put on it.
A little Sigma 24.
Sigma 24. That is how
But
much.
then buy no C70 to put no Sigma on that.
Alright, what will you put on it there, Owen? What lens will
Alright, let me say 24 to 70. Or let me be that guy and put the 28 to 70 on it. Because we greedy.
Ooh, it don't pass the
Wicked
6K
boy.
version.
Because we greedy so.
You're wicked. Man's training. You're growing biceps.
And we put it on in regards to wireless follow focus and all of that now. Wireless
Well,
mode.
wireless follow focus when we follow focus. We need them thing. From to you. And so follow focus, yes.
And gimbal to hold all that chassis. All that
Easy thing. That running, the last running that they brought out, that could handle all of that.
The R2, RS2.
Yeah, RS2 or whatever.
There's about between 850 I think and a grand. So we're looking at all in all they're about what? About 10?
About 10.
Good. And how long it taking to set that up compared to just picking up this, running out your car and shooting one time?
You still have to adjust
40?
it, eh?
The 40?
You'll get twisted. You still have to set up that. Fellows, you get evicted now. Eh?
What Philo saying there?
But C70 nothing.
I know you put you on film now. That is Tobago love.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But to me, it's easier to bring. I would, just for me, as for me on my house, I would quicker get a Komodo or even. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't buy no Sony. I'm sorry.
Komodo is crop sensor too, eh?
So not even this
Super
Sony
35,
FX,
that is industry
FX6?
standard for thing,
True.
also.
Super 35 is we have VistaVision now coming in, so that could give Super 35 a run for the money. That it seems to be where the industry is headed, but that brings some of its own issues with it being cost, especially.
Cost effective.
Yeah, Super 35
To
is
me,
way more affordable.
I can't get past that lens, that lacquer lens choice.
True,
Especially
I
at
agree
that
with you
price
there.
point, but I can't get past
I
it.
agree. I
Because
see
any
it.
other iteration, you could just pull a lens through an adapter and you're good to go. So unless they have intentions of doing that, highly unlikely, I find.
Yeah, you know what I feel it might do? I could be wrong. I'm not maybe the RS2 could actually do it. And I just jumping out on a limb here, and maybe they might make a system just like the 4D, but where you can mount your own camera and still get all of those benefits. I don't know. Like
What do you mean?
something.
Talk to me.
I think in the sense that, well, I
I ain't
guess
seen
you
that
could just...
fitting on the turkey neck. I ain't
You
seen
cut
that
it off
thing
the
fitting
turkey
there.
neck?
Yeah, I ain't seen that thing fitting there. That's the moral of the story now. Eh?
Whap! $7,000
Yeah.
gone.
Somebody.
It take work.
You never know. I mean, to me, these
6K
systems
for
have
the
its merits, but it closed. It's a closed system still. It's kind of like Apple in that sense. The mere fact that they catering to so many people.
Well,
what there, Bruce?
I see somebody
them
drop
is fighting with.
a lens compatibility list for the Ronin 4D.
Phil's
That's what
supporting
Phil said now?
No,
Yeah,
somebody
I
else
saw
sent
that. But could it actually function with it though? Would it be like stabilized, or you would just have a locked gimbal
Well,
kind
it
of
has
thing?
Z-axis support, yes. Counterweight recommended. It
Because I
probably
think there's a weight
does.
limit. I think there's a weight limit for the gimbal.
Most often
You
than
know.
not.
Yeah. So even if you're, let's say I put on a GM, some 24 center G Master, would it still fit and work? You know, I don't think so. It's highly unlikely, but
It doesn't. It
hey,
doesn't have it listed here though. Mm-mm. It
okay.
have
Phil say it
more
works.
prime lens.
Phil must say
That's what
that.
I would imagine. It'll probably be like the 1.8, the lighter
It have
lenses that you could probably work with.
like the 28 to 75, the 18 to 105, the 16 to 55. Those lightweight
Crops.
lens.
Crops, yeah.
Yeah.
28 to 75 is full frame, but that's the variable
Mm-hmm.
3.5 thing, 5.6. So
Yeah. So
it
small
needs
stuff.
lights. Correct. So you're still limited there. Cinema, like real cinema glasses, huge in comparison. So, I mean, there are merits to using cinema glass versus your typical photography lenses. Again, at some point, I'm sure you see somebody out there saying, hey, no, this thing working for me.
I always
Who
will have
knows?
somebody.
Always. You're always gonna have an user who will be like, this is for me. And that's the good thing, because like Rani says, it's revolutionary. It at least have us talking about it, which is great. That means we are not stuck in one form factor. We are willing to
True.
work with something once it gets the job done. So it's still a good conversation to have, rather than we just
dismiss
close
it.
about it. Correct. Dismiss it. We had some other gear dropped, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Yeah, real thing this week. Real
real
thing.
thing.
I don't know what they're trying to do with people back. People don't even get back pay in years. And they're thinking about spending it on gear already.
Boy.
The real thing they drop.
Look, see, I feel the version 2 will have motors that can take cine lenses. But if the version 2 could take cine lenses, they better send what's it called? A movie fly or something with that, because my back ain't gonna take
That's
all
why I
that.
not got to say, they have this
Yeah.
thing with the overhead rig thing.
Yeah.
You might need one of that, and then what's the point?
Yeah. We stick a lot on the DJI camera gimbal turkey chicken thing.
The easy rig, tank style.
Easy rig, right?
Yeah.
What's the next thing that we're looking at this?
So we talk about Apple yet?
No,
watch your face. Watch it.
We
were holding that gem for you there, man. Come on, Mr. Profoto. Talk to me. Witness.
Pro.
Witness.
Yeah, but here the thing, disclaimer, I never own a Mac computer yet.
Yeah, neither me,
I
neither
own
me.
iPad. That's pretty much it. Never.
Nah.
I said M1 was
can't
it.
be getting
Nothing.
All that time you
M1
was getting on
Max,
and lighting
boy.
up people. Talk
M1
to me.
Pro, boy. I don't like the
Boy.
name in the way, but whoo.
Why?
Chad's eyes
I find the
minor.
whole Max and Pro thing.
What do you think would have been more suitable? What do you think would have been suitable?
M1X.
Yeah, I like the whole M1X thing. I mean, it's like Canonish. M1X.
I
Nah,
had a
It's
reason.
gonna give it to you.
you.
Yeah. But yeah, processing power, boy. Processing power like that.
Jeez.
Man who was like, yeah, M1 is the way, truth and the life, and then all of a sudden, that Mac, the M1 Air, all of a sudden, yeah, that's iPad now, boy.
No, don't get tired.
I know
Don't
somebody
get
sent
tired.
back their M1 to price afternoon. I serious. I know a man as soon as it dropped, he said, hey Conrad, bring that for me now. I was like, dog, you sure you know?
Yeah,
like
but
literally
Conrad,
2 days ago, man,
in
going
my
back
opinion,
to price matters.
Anybody who was considering Apple for the past 6 months, they should have just keep their wallet in their pockets, because Apple was dropping something. Just there was so much leaks and so much rumors.
Yeah, but we didn't know when.
You understand? We didn't know when, but come on, now, man, come on. Just be patient.
I jumped. I jumped.
When I see you jump, when I say you jump, I say, all right, you make a good decision. But I watched too much. I watched too many leaks. Like I didn't even own no Apple.
You see what the men stink?
Apple.
He tell him
Conrad,
congrats, and behind my back he laughing at me. You see what I
but
mean?
Owen,
Stink.
this man went and jumped. All you see Conrad put up a picture of an Apple logo. He said, all right, well, he bite the bullet. He didn't consult
No,
me. He didn't
no,
take me
no, no,
on.
no. This the
No, I mean
we
for the
had
use case,
problems.
yeah.
Yes, I needed it. That noise and all that when we were on the live, all of that. It because my system I have, you probably seen it in the back there, is old. It's very powerful, but it's old, and it
Yeah,
is like
yeah,
a windmill when that thing fire up
With
because I built
shots.
the PC. So I was like,
yeah.
now I have a MacBook Air, and the price cheap.
Quiet,
It's
quiet.
so
Yeah.
cheap.
Price
Boy,
point,
no,
Nothing.
like
performance per price point. Yeah.
in the
Can't
history of
announce it.
Apple products, I think the
Right.
Apple Air with that M1 chip has been the best value to price ratio across the board in the history of
Yeah,
Apple
yeah,
or the history of computing. Because let me be honest,
Mm-hmm.
if we didn't see those M1 Pros and M1 Max, the M1 was good enough for everybody in this life. Literally, it
Facts.
was good enough because
Facts.
I've
Just to figure out
watched
if you needed the 16 gig.
or the 8, but
Yeah, yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
we already know it's 16 because I looked at like let's say over 100 videos, like literally 100 videos, and I remember when the M1 had dropped, persons was like, "Oh, this is overhyped, and these graphs can't be real." You know, it was basically a top down when Apple had dropped that M1.
True.
3 months
True.
later, everybody just singing praises. Even up to 2 months
Exactly.
ago, praises, praises. So I want to see how these people were really going to compare the performance of the M1 Max, just even the
Mm-hmm.
Pro, to the M1, because the M1 is so good.
That's it.
Literally so good. If it wasn't for this, everybody would have been happy with the Apple Air. But now I feel like, oh, it ain't good enough. You know, I need
True.
something better. I need some ports. But really and truly, if you started out now and you want to buy a computer, like even if somebody wants a Windows laptop, like I telling you, forget about laptops. Just buy
Mm-hmm.
this Apple M1 and you'll be happy. Forget about wasting money spending a 2000 Windows machine, in my opinion. You
Serious.
understand?
So
Just
you
buy
don't
this
think Windows
M1.
machines make sense at all? At all?
No,
Yeah, I
they don't
done with
make
Windows.
sense. They don't make no sense.
They
Ryzen,
done.
AMD will bring back Windows computer, might rise them up. But right
And that's the
now,
thing. I never like Ryzen on them thing.
good.
I
But
was an
right
Intel,
now,
Serious. Yeah. Intel man,
Intel
right?
whore
True.
from D1.
and right now,
Okay.
I would never recommend anybody buying a Windows laptop. I don't care who it
So
is.
so Rani, as we have you on here, and if persons don't know, Rani is the, let's say, proprietor of Tech Horn. I mean, we had a plug Tech Horn. The man dropping a whole set of facts. Here the man watch
Tech
100
class in
videos.
TECH and not TEK.
Correct. So it's Tech Horn and Horn HORNE. He's on
Yeah, as
Facebook.
in
You could reach him. Rani, what's the number to get Tech Horn?
768-7457.
Boom. Right.
Over
So we
24/7.
if you ask one, no, man. Creatives don't sleep, you know. You get a call 1 o'clock in the morning, you know.
That is alright, man.
Rani is well versed in computers. If you don't realize by now, he is Phil say M1 not replacing my desktop.
Yeah,
Phil
I didn't
boy,
take it on Phil, no. Phil right now in
Phil
the,
boy.
Yeah,
in the wilderness. Yeah,
Too
you know
soon.
it. Yeah.
he
Give
said
Phil
he
a
can
couple
jump in,
weeks.
but he have only basketball shoes, just in case. Just in case.
Sean says, as a software developer for Windows, etc., I must run Visual Studio, which doesn't run on the M1. If it did, I'd have to marry Apple.
Yeah.
That's
See?
it. A lot of persons, like for example, there's a couple I know. The wife, she bought the M1 because she was Mac. She was just waiting to get back in there, and
Right.
it came out. The price point was right. The claims were nice, and of course, when she got it, boom, battery life. GM plug-in thing for like 2 days, 3 days,
But
and
what
just
about
like
a Windows
20% jump.
emulator though?
She didn't
I
need
never
that.
run
She
it.
didn't need that. The thing is, her husband, he is he's into landscaping. So there's
Right.
proprietary, certain software that he would require that not on M1. So
Yeah, well,
he went and he threw him behind a Dell XPS.
Still a good laptop.
I mean,
What,
yeah,
what
it's
Rani
still,
face? What Rani
but
face?
still, because honestly, if it wasn't for the software that there wasn't an equivalent of in the Apple space, he probably would have gone Mac as well. Because when they're comparing the two, Jed, it's like, where you going with that?
Yeah.
Don't touch me with that. Don't touch me with that.
Like literally I feel it for people who actually bought MacBooks in the last 3 years. Like I told somebody, look at everybody chucking up their MacBook for sale every day. MacBook for sale, MacBook for sale, MacBook sale. I was
True.
like,
True.
it's paying.
Facts.
It's paying.
Facts.
Literally, if you maxed out, and that's another thing that people have to be careful about, trying to max out something that Apple just dropped. Because you realize anybody who maxed out their little 16-inch MacBook is technically less than half of its value
What do you mean, like something
in
from
terms of
2020?
performance. Yeah,
Like,
even
no,
2020,
2019.
2019,
Once
with
it's
the M1
Intel.
giving you, it's not the M1 we're talking about, it's Intel.
Yeah,
Literally,
once it has Intel.
So yeah,
the
the
value of,
lines and
yeah, it's like if it, nobody get what that again?
But Rani, I mean, just to plug Tech One, sorry there, Owen, if you was going to say something. I want to
No,
get
that's
your
what-
perspective still. What price points at which, what price points you would recommend different systems or different laptops? What do you would recommend, let's say from 500 up to 2500?
What laptops I recommend?
Yeah. Or what do you recommend somebody do? Give us some intervals there. So let's say 500, 10, 1,000, sorry, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500.
Let's say we're looking at between 500 to 1,000. I would say like the Lenovo. I can have a bias to Lenovo Legion series. So they have a
So-
Legion 3. I personally have a Legion 5 and I love it. I mean, if it wasn't for Apple and the M1, I would be content. But
happy.
yeah, I would be happy. But I recommended the Legion 3 to at least 5 persons that bought it and they just love that laptop. From like say 1,000 to 1,500, I would still recommend the Lenovo Legion 5 version because you're looking at here like the nice i7 processor, 1070H. You will get some nice discrete graphics, a little 16 gig, a little 512 or terabyte. Sometimes you might get 2 hard drives, basically in that price point. But honestly, it as much as I love Windows all my life, remember these prices are in US, guys. But as much
Alright.
as I love Windows all my life, and I used to always say Mac is overpriced, Apple is overpriced. Factors, or say. The M1 has literally, like when we was watching, I don't know if you all watch TVA in Loki series, the TVA, Time
I
Variance
think I know.
Authority. And basically,
Okay.
if this is the timeline, the
Uh-huh.
M1 just make a whole new timeline. Like, yo,
No shot.
no,
Whole new variant.
yeah, a whole new variant. Like, yo, what more you want? Literally,
Yeah, I
Apple-
think.
Apple. If I was Intel, I would feel so sick to my bone. Sick,
Well,
sick.
they already was kind of
They were trailing Ryzen, right?
they were trailing. I don't know what. Wow, I don't know
Yeah.
what's.
Like you would have never imagined Intel will be at the bottom. Like,
Exactly.
You would have never imagined a MacBook without an Intel.
yeah, like,
True.
yo,
So now that we have a new timeline as a put around you, what do you recommend between 500 and 1,000? What do you suggest somebody do?
the M1. The
Which one?
M1. 8 gigs of RAM, 256 hard drive, and run with that. Get
As the
refurbished. Yeah, get refurbished for like 850 US. You might get for 800 US.
But what you would bring it at, or what would Tech One do for somebody looking in? Let's see, what you would offer in that range then, if you could. I don't know if you have that available at hand right now.
I don't have nothing available right now. Everything's sold out.
Oh
So
shucks.
yeah. Peace.
You're doing a good job too, because I mean, I don't know if you realize I was kind of like consulting with you. I realized that this man had this thing down. I was wasting a lot of time doing the same 100 videos. And I could have just
You could have just referenced the guy.
You understand? I could have just go by Tech One's and Tech One, sorry, and just say, here, hold our money there, bring it for me.
I guess it's
have better
because
things
I
to do
don't
with my
have
time.
I don't have a YouTube channel and no bias reviews.
Oh,
So
God.
but we will work on that. We will work on that.
Yeah,
But
good.
Kyle, in regards to 256, honestly, I just say just slap in a little Samsung T5 drive in that
Boom.
and back up what you need to back up. Like,
Fair.
yeah, like
Is that
You already-
SSD it having it, right? Not the hard disk drive like Kyle saying there, HDD. Is that SSD?
yeah, just slap in a external hard drive and be good with that because remember this might not be for photographer recommendation, right? And even as a photographer, you could get away. Because for me, 256 is that is pain. Even 512 is pain. I want a terabyte. But the average person who Arduino set of videos in 4K pulling off a whole memory card that is 120 gigs at 256 and they're good to go. Rock back with that, keep more money in your pocket. So another thing is that you might be able is look at it this way. You can spend $3,000 on a Spectre machine from Apple, and literally the same day it could fall on break. Would you have 3,000 to replace it? But you could have gotten through with maybe a 2,000 or 1,500 version of that same laptop. And in 2 years' time, you just sell it back and upgrade. You understand? Because even as good as the M1 Pro and M1 Max are, knowing Apple, knowing the track record, they're dropping something next year in a year and a half, 18 months, 24 months. You already have an M2. So don't get so caught up in the best now. Every year is always going to be a best. Literally, I think, as I said, other manufacturers have somewhat taken what Apple does. Gone are the days when you wait 4 years or 2 years for a product cycle. People know that every year you get an iPhone Max and it's going to be the best. Every year.
Best MacBook ever, best iPhone ever.
Yeah,
best
basically take away your pocket could handle. I personally would not waste $3,000. I don't care on no laptop. You understand? A laptop is so fragile. Maybe make a 2,000, and then you say, all right, in 2 years' time, 3 years, I'm going to upgrade. But remember, if Apple never gave us the M1 Pro and the M1 Max, everybody was happy with the M1. Nobody never complained.
Because I wasn't even thinking about going outside of the 1,500 to 2,000 bracket. I put up a little, my little wish list, and it's over 3,000. I watching their numbers. Like,
you could do that money.
Yeah,
I could buy a whole 28 to 70 day way. Just saying.
Nah, I'm telling you, like, just be patient. Like, usually Apple products just have like a high. You just be like, oh, you're excited. But just give it a few weeks, a few days in your mind, go be like, nah, I don't really need that.
I think that's
an impulse.
I think that's the general thing with tech nowadays. Everybody is like, they want the latest, the greatest. I think you said that on the live last night, Rani. You said your father, I think you said everybody want a new toilet to sit on or something like that.
Me?
It's who somebody said that.
No.
Somebody said that. I find it was so funny. Everybody want to sit on a new toilet. Basically they want to have new shit. People like to pull down the pants for Apple every minute. Yes, Kyle,
boy.
Kyle, I mean, Kyle.
But this one was
Kyle Apple, and don't take you on.
Yeah. Kyle crying over the little 27-inch that Apple probably rape him and began to pull down his pants for. But the reality is, this time in the history of Apple, we could give jacket and say they deserve their money. They deserve their money.
I kind of agree with Rani there, where it doesn't make sense sometimes to max out. I mean, I am a different type of user from a lot of creatives. Creatives tend to be pushing their systems to the max. But we've seen with this latest M1, well, not even the M1X and M1 Pro. No, M1 Pro and Max. Yeah. You don't even need that to be running 4K on anything 4K in DaVinci. You could use a literal base system. And like Rani say, add the 8 gigs if you want to put priority on it. Or if you know you just need that storage on hand, probably you could upgrade to a 1 terabyte. But yeah, you're seeing what these things are doing. You don't need it best to get awesome performance.
Hey, Bedos, let me ask: did you ever run any C70 footage on the Air you have?
Yeah, I could actually run it in the background right now while I doing this, because this M1 is flying. I could probably bring up a screen.
When I realized I needed a little MacBook Air or M1 in my life, I think I had brought in a rose gold version for a customer. And I held that box in my hand and I was like, this is a laptop. I mean, like, all its power. Like, I was sold. You understand? It's like, even this 15-inch Lenovo Legion 5 just feel like a chore to carry around. Literally, it feel like a chore. The
Yeah, I just
MacBook
threw mine in
Air
my bag.
feels like a tablet. It feels like a Samsung tablet you have in your pocket, and that's all in it.
What now? iPad, you mean?
iPad. The way you say
Yeah,
a
that's what
Samsung
I thought.
tablet.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, iPad tablet. More
I
premium.
never thought enough.
No, you
But
don't say tablet.
literally, I think just spend your money on the M1, boy. You can't lose. You understand? You
Yeah,
can't lose
it is
because
nice.
if you look at various YouTubers when they show you the limitations, you say, okay, maybe take more RAM. But there's nobody that's maxing out the processor. Literally.
Facts.
I want to
Nobody out here
share. Actually, while I was talking to you, while I was scrubbing through the footage there, I'm gonna add it. To just let you see what it's about. I'm telling you all, it is real. It is bloody real. Let me see.
If I had to do that on
Windows.
this Legion laptop, I show it sticking.
Dog,
Yeah.
if I open Premiere now, my not gonna start a ball out the place.
Yeah, actually, I had to go through some stuff on the back end, so we could probably continue that after.
Okay.
Okay. But it's not the
Yeah.
C70 you're using now?
Yeah, it's the C70 I'm using right now,
Yeah.
and the same footage I was going to share came from C70. So it works nicely, but apparently I have to do some stuff here to share the screen. I don't want to derail the thing trying to figure this out.
That's from the
But
9
I
o'clock
agree
man
with
video.
Phil. I wish iPad OS was more. Yeah, if they had given them the full treatment as the Mac OS, because a friend of mine, she was interested in buying the M1 iPad, and I was like, it make no sense to spend no money on that
No.
because
Why,
you're not getting to access any other horsepower really and truly.
Exactly.
And I think Apple put a cap on the memory that third party apps could access. I think they cut them off at the knee at five gigs. So if the program might require more memory to do what they need to do, it doesn't make any sense.
As Kyle even chimed in, is a niche product. Is not necessarily for everybody. You don't need it. Like the iPad is like 800 US or 700 US.
But
Boy,
who's
the
that
base
iPad
one
before
of them
though?
real good. I don't move past the base model personally.
Just buy a MacBook M1 Air and be happy. Like you literally be happy.
Yeah, rather than spend all that because it's almost comparable in price points. Yeah.
Like how I look at it, let's say you're looking at the MacBook Air, right? Well, the 13-inch Pro and the latest 14-inch that drop. If you add in the dongle, theoretically for 512 gigabytes hard drive, 16 gigs of RAM, the difference between the two is like 400 US. So in my opinion, if you had money to buy the Pro for 13-inch, I would have hold out and say just go for the new 14-inch and be happy with that,
Yeah.
But for me, it's like the 13-inch Pro do exist. Is either buy the Air at base with 16 gigs of RAM, or you just wait out, save your money, and buy the
14-inch Pro.
That's how I look
Rationalize
at
it. Yeah.
All right.
Solid point.
Do we have any other gear that we want to bring up though? I know we had a couple of stuff this week. I don't want to take it for granted.
Well, let's talk about boring Sony.
No, Nikon boring, but
I will leave Sony for a little later. I know Aperture brought out some stuff this week as well too.
Yeah,
the mini
Conrad, some is so disappointed.
I mean, I personally, not really. That's not my thing. I mean,
maybe Supernova.
I already have my Amarans, and I'm not really a big fan of them. They're cheap. They do what they need to do, but it's not for me. Personally, I like the Lightstorm series. It's much sturdier.
Robust. Well, I guess for use case now. Because remember, you're a rental house, so that robustness would make more sense.
Like our last couple of lives, I used the Amaran a couple of times. I actually kept a couple of Amarans for me personally, but the build not that great. One of the knobs pop out the back. Sometimes you're trying to run cables to get power and it's too short, so you have to find an extension that's not too long because you don't have all that cable rolling all over the place. It is a okay product. If you just want light, if it's just the light you're concerned about and remote control from your phone, fine, you're okay. But from the time you want to get a quality product, to me it's very lackluster. I'd much rather spend the money and buy the Lightstone. I'd
Because
even
no, I was just saying, I saw a comment there and I was like, Sigma release an anamorphic lens? Who that was? Because
Sigma.
it was a mistake, man. It was
Oh,
a typo.
oh,
I
Suri.
was like, yeah, because I was
Yeah,
like,
I think that's last week.
Suri known for releasing those type of unique lenses and so on.
But I think there's a full frame though.
Yeah, this is the first.
It's a 52.8 if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
I can't remember fully.
I think the price was like 1,500 or so, which is pretty affordable. Yeah, I had to check it back. But it's a nice lens. For the persons who are into anamorphic, they say for one, the ratio is weird. I think it's a 1.6.
Yeah,
So
1.6.
they squeeze it. And then you have the issue of the flares. They're very unnatural for anamorphic, which is already the case for anamorphic. But
Yeah, because that's usually one of the selling points.
It look out of this world type of footage.
Yeah, but then they're saying that the flares and all are wrong. Like, it's not pleasant. So you kind of, I guess the mere fact that you have an anamorphic at that price range and it's still decently sharp, because anamorphics aren't usually known for being sharp, it's a decent buy. But I mean, you have to really be into anamorphics, in my opinion, to make that make sense. Personally,
I always wanted one. I found it cool.
Yeah, like you just so have one.
Like an 80.
80.
Yeah.
Wait. As I say 80 mil, my mind run on Fuji GFX. Or do you realize that I have a man in the comments just normal?
Pal, let me ain't jumpy yet, Naja.
You realize I have a man. Where is he? I didn't see him. Where he going now? He hiding?
They're probably there somewhere looking. Well, I said, we ain't go wind him up just yet. We're still talking about G.A.S thing. I'll save you for later. But all right, so back to the 60C if I can. Right. I personally, I wouldn't mind getting one. I like it because I saw Sarah Dici. She had a video where she was doing like a studio tour, and she had one in the background as a hairlight. And it was so rich because what I liked about it as well was the modifier that they have for the softbox. The softbox for it. It was really cool. So having that really nice light and RGB and the form factor and Sidus link, it just makes a really nice complete, and it comes with grid all kind of thing too.
It's a lot.
Can't fight that. Yeah,
it's a lot. But you do think it have like competing products that give better value?
I'm asking. The newer.
Okay, yeah, it have newer. What do you think?
One second.
Yeah, sure. Look, Brandon, come on. Yeah, that I apologize, man. Trust me, I just be ducking out.
TNTech cut the power just now.
Yeah, I see a flash on my end. Brendan says, don't get me started on customs. So, jeez, man. But you get the Fuji GFX though. Someone told customs medium format is not professional in
What?
Medium format is not professional in Trinidad. Oh my gosh. You all see what we just had to be going through?
Alright, what country?
Owen, look, Brendan, respond to you there. He say,
well, they gang rape him or?
No, he say someone to
no, all right. So they probably charge him too much.
Because I know people. Not that. Like they wanted to hold the camera.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Probably he could tell us where
he say he's still fighting to clear it.
Jeez.
But why would they hold it? So wait. So if it's not a professional camera, what are they holding it to do with it?
No, notice the term, not professional in Trinidad.
I think I know what happened. It could be that, customs. Okay, for persons who don't know, when customs charge your import with tariffs, that is duties, VAT, and OPT, they usually consult a tariff sheet. The tariff sheet is going to have different commodities. It's supposed to have every single commodity that I could think about, and their respective charges, whether it be no duties, but it has VAT and OPT. OPT is usually reserved for if you're bringing some truck. There's no duties and VAT, or sometimes it's just, well, there's rarely ever a time when there's duties and no VAT, as far as I can recall. But I suspect that, yeah, you see, it's $6,000 in value. So it's quite likely what they did there is they made him, or they are suggesting that he get a broker to come and clear it on his behalf. And him being an individual, a person, or a for non-commercial use, because he's probably bringing it as under his name. He would probably have to now go and get what we call an N number, which is your NIS number tied to your name.
Yeah, I feel like that was going to happen.
Yeah. Give him all the chance you get there.
Yeah, boy. Like we had to cut him in the background. Couldn't have him giving out everything. But yeah, when I heard that Brandon was bringing in that camera, that lens or whatever to customs, in my head, boy, I couldn't do that. The last time I brought in anything to customs was 2014 when I saw the charges and then the cry from since then affordable imports.
Yeah, like
before
talk done.
It was, I didn't even think about it. My skybox probably catching dust right about now. You understand?
Hey, somebody say
TNT still I shoot that thing. M1 problem.
That Jason is not there, man. It's not there, man. Can't be that.
Yeah, that C70 footage in the background probably just crash everything.
No. Don't say that. I had nothing to do with no cannon.
Boy, sorry about that, dude. That was flu for your money.
Yeah. Forget that to me.
Oh, Jason say M1 problems. Jason.
Yeah, boy. The blasphemy, but that says the C70 all kind of thing.
The C70, well, we recording the C70, and the C70 has 3 hours battery life, so nah, that C70 gonna be running. This is why I prefer skyboxes. No, Sean, that has nothing to do with skybox. From the time from the time customs realized that the product is in excess of, I think it's 20,000 TT, or usually they use a buffer of around 2,000 US. From the time they realize it's in excess of that value, they are going to do what we call extraction from the manifest. That is, they take it out from that batch of stuff clearing with the courier. Wow. And that's when you get a call from the courier saying, customs bonded your cargo, you need to come down and clear it for yourself. We would provide you with the necessary paper documents. And then you have to go and get a broker, most likely, unless you could prove that this is for non-trade use. If it's for non-trade use, then they would allow you to just clear it right there on your own behalf. But in a case like that, they may require you to walk with your documents, which would include like your N number. I don't know if I got cut then, but yeah. Long story short, yeah, you need to go and get a broker, most likely, to sort you out.
I think he indicated that in the comments.
Yeah. Oh, he said all of that?
Yeah, a broker had to go to customs house to change the tariff sheet.
Yep.
To have the listing updated to allow medium format to be 0 rated.
So you did the entire Trinidad and Tobago service there. We could now bring medium format cameras into Trinidad.
You said we paved the way for us. Paved the way for us.
Thank you for your service, bro.
Yes, thank you for your
sacrifice. What else we were talking about? Hour of gear. Persons, anybody have any questions? The hour of gear, guys. We could talk gear all day, all night.
We had real thing. We ain't touched everything yet.
What else we to talk about?
The Z9 boy. It's coming.
You gonna give that 30 seconds? All right.
The Z9 hasn't arrived as yet. Right, guys. So next.
Bam.
No, you have anything
Nobody you want to say there, No. I just say it's a necessary evil. I mean, it's expected.
Evil, you say yes?
Sony had the A1. Sony had the A1. Canon have the R3.
And they say
Hey,
that's in the
Randy
end
again,
yet, eh?
hail out today from a
Yes, so
Sherry Horn McDowell.
Hey, good night, Mrs. Horn McDowell.
oh, that's my auntie. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay. Nice, man. Auntie tuning. Thank you,
Yeah,
Auntie.
yeah. She dropped me off by BNH the other day.
What?
Yeah,
Auntie, have a connect code?
that's
But
it.
yeah, the Nikon just had to release it. People saying that how the focus system is going to be basically eliminate the gap of what the A1 gave us. But that not really helping us. We want a little trickle down technology, like we want all that goodness to follow. Because eventually, them photographers who shooting with the A1, they have stake money, the company probably buy it. Like, to me, that's just too much money to invest in one body. And I'm a two body shooter. So imagine 10,000 on two bodies, like,
And you ain't buy a glass yet.
yeah.
Good point.
Or
Point.
memory.
So,
What memory it using?
hmm?
What memory it using? CFast? Express?
They didn't say, but I feel it might be two dual CF Express. I know they put an SD card in that. You know,
For real, huh?
I know they put SD card in that. But they have a new lens. I think is the 200 to 500 f5.6. That it was in the
Nikon?
leak videos. Yeah, they have a
Z
new lens.
mount?
Yeah, that they're going to drop,
Damn.
and I kind of interested in having something of that focal length in my arsenal. I mean, it
At
could
That would
be
be
200
nice.
to what?
200 to 500. It wouldn't
I mean,
be. Yeah, I mean, you might want to shoot a little, we call it kingfisher or some hummingbirds, a little.
I thought you was going to
Might,
say shoot the bride from across the road or something. You
yeah, that's it.
I mean,
Dread
5.6.
compression. They cutting out the husband, everybody. Just the
I don't
bride.
feel. I don't
The
feel.
bride ring.
I use a 150 to 600 Tamron, and I don't feel the quality was all that. First off, it's a Tamron, but it was it was more for landscape and so on. But I mean, you want to experiment. You don't want to be stuck in a pigeonhole all your life shooting at 50 millimeters. No,
Right.
you want to have different stuff. You want to enjoy it. You understand? You might not be able to justify buying it, but
Facts.
you just want to enjoy something new. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, because I was like the 200, kind of as a 200 to 400 with the built-in teleconverter. I was like that. If I had the money just to pelt behind a lens just because.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not realistic right now.
But
But I guess
personally,
what's we had to talk about? Personally,
but
sorry, Rani.
yeah, just before we move on, like I still feel coming from the D750. Yes, I love mirrorless, but I miss that rugged body. Like just give me back a rugged body. Like when I remember when Conrad had gotten a D500, I was like, this is the perfect camera. All you need to do is put in a full frame sensor, and then we
Yeah,
get
that was a
the
nice
850.
buddy.
Like
That was
at
a
the
nice
back of
buddy.
my head does be like, yeah, boy, Rani, I feel we should buy the 850 one day. Like it.
Still, eh?
I literally.
But I'm
I
not
felt,
Rani using digital, so I'm like be flow.
yeah, I
Randy
don't know
cut
what.
there as well? Because I
Yeah.
lost connection a little bit. I'm with Flo.
Yeah, good to go there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I held the D850 in my hand and I was like, this camera is perfection. It didn't need no grip, it didn't need nothing. D850, I had no complaints. I could shoot with the
Serious?
volume. So
To
the,
be honest,
Hard one?
so the Z9, be honest with you, like if money wasn't an option, I'll be excited to get that Z9 body. Literally. I love my grips. I love my grip. And the fact that it's smaller than the D6. D6 is a huge camera. You're already getting mirrorless system. It's smaller, unibody. I don't want nothing else. I'm telling you, I don't want nothing else.
Owen, where have we heard this before?
yeah. Is it every couple months?
Yeah,
I
So
don't
then
know
you need-
nothing else.
Unstable in all his ways. But yeah, let me make a little confession there now. So
Oh,
I at one point was actually thinking about switching to Nikon. I think it was the D810 or I think it was the 810. Yeah. Confession time. Good for this. No, serious thing. And guess why I didn't make the transition? Because it was that or I was waiting for the Mark IV and I was taking too long. It's like, oh gosh, I need some proper. And I think it was the A10 that came out at that point.
Oh,
And I
serious?
think
Good budget.
Northrop did a video where he was doing the lens comparison, and he was saying that the optics with the current Nikon 72-200
That
was
was a failure.
nowhere near Canon, and I was like,
Does he
I can't
focus
live with
breeding?
any.
Yeah, and it wasn't
Yeah, or
even
even
200.
the resolution. Yeah,
You was
that's
again a
Focus
full
breeding.
200, and I vexed a Nikon for that.
Full 200 at close focus though. I believe at distance you still get 200. I think, eh? If
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
mistaken.
I think
I
it's
couldn't
again
I couldn't live that life. I couldn't
like
live
a
that life.
170 it was getting.
I think that's only at close focus, like when you try and do a maximum magnification. Like
Okay.
think macro work. You know the reproduction of it is like a 175 I think or something like that.
And then when Tamron and Sigma came out with theirs, they could have been even closer. And
Yeah.
people was
Yeah.
excited about that. But
Yeah.
I think
I personally think that was a much ado about nothing though. Personally, I find the lens was fine. I remember I had the same 70-200 VR2. That was, I believe, the lens that everybody was cracking on. And I assisted Urani. Basically, I was holding a light stand.
Voice
In
activated
Toko.
light stand.
Yeah, voice activated light stand in Toko for a morning shoot. That was the couple on the Rocks Rani, if you can remember.
I feel that was at 85 though.
No, that was a 70-200. Check it back.
Really?
Check. Yeah, check the XF. And you know the shot I'm
Actually,
talking
yeah,
about,
it
right?
was that. Yeah, it was that because looking
Yeah.
back, that 85 could have never done that. From
Yeah,
that
and I
distance
just
I was.
exactly. You were doing your shoot, and I was just snapping pictures from the back. But I was more that my job was to hold light stand and get whatever emotions I could probably find somewhere in between. And it had one particular shot. It came out really good. It was sharp. Everything was on point. So, I mean, I personally didn't see the need to bash the lens that hard. But of course, we need to have something to talk about. When we talk about gear, we can't just give it high praises and everybody is a number one
Two pats on the
performer.
back.
Exactly.
Hip hooray, right around. So yeah, according to Phil, I had COVID before it actually existed. Because as a minor lapse of judgment there. But I was
the
quickly
Nikon.
snapped out of it. Yeah.
All right.
But to be honest,
All right.
like the first trip I took to B&H, I
Mhm.
think at that time it was the 1DX, the first 1DX, and I think the D3, if I'm not mistaken. And
Right.
in comparing the two, to be honest, the D3 was to me a smoother operating camera.
Okay.
I could have rocked with a D3. That's probably the only
Serious?
Nikon, the only Nikon I would have buy. The highest grade.
I never knew.
Because like the Canon, the 1DX, the shutter was like a Gatling gun. And the D3 was like a micro Uzi that it was smooth. It was smooth. I was like,
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah, those things will be missed. Just
you
like how
can
electric
imagine.
cars taking over a gas-powered vehicle, they will be missed.
For real.
That's a dread comparison. Actually, that was
Yeah.
not any comparison. Any other questions or anybody have anything to offer from the chat? Canon had a similar issue with the 24-70 f4. No. Oh, I said no. I guess he was saying no one cared.
Yeah, so I
beat Nike? I agree. Canon tends to get a pass on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because if it wasn't for Canon, where would the world be? So, where would the world be?
I reading comments here, Phil. Honestly, though,
Yeah,
Nikon
boy.
D850 was the best DSLR at its prime. Well, until the mirrorless tornado just say DSLR not.
If it wasn't for Sony, boy, that D850, boy,
yeah.
It life get cut short. Like it life get cut short by Sony.
Sony was full into mirrorless. Canon was now teetering on the edge of it. We're going to do something.
Because I mean,
serious.
they had the M line, which nobody will talk about.
But Nikon had a mirrorless line too.
Nikon had the M series as well. They had the M1, M.
Yeah, Nikon didn't know up.
Yeah, we had the
two
GFX.
actually. They had two.
The J1,
GFX.
the J1, the J2.
J1, yes. It was J and M. It was J and M.
Yes,
right?
them trash.
I agree they were trash,
Yeah,
but
they're
they were
failure.
still mirrorless. They were way before their time. But Nikon still went ahead and dropped the 850 DSLR, and
Yeah,
it was a
boy.
beast. But everybody was already on mirrorless
Like,
stream.
part of me just still be in the back of my mind, like, I would like a little D850, do a couple
Mm,
shoots with it. Like, even though, yes, mirrorless is there, like, I just want to go back and actually have cameras from where I started from. So, like a
mm.
D7000, I feel like in a couple of years, if I see one on eBay, I might buy it still.
You
Not
could buy it
necessarily.
now for a cheap price. I think you could get one
Yeah.
of those like for like 200 US or 150
Like,
now.
I actually want to like pass these down to my kids and be like, yo, this is where father shot it. This was his
Next thing
starting
you're like,
camera.
Daddy, move that crap.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind buying back a 5D Mark
Yeah.
II, to be honest.
It's more sentimental than you're going to use it.
Mm,
I honestly
understood.
found the D7000 was one of the best crop sensor. I think it was
It,
better than the 71, the 72.
by far, in terms of color, at least in color.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
I use those.
I think they had a CCD sensor or something like that. I could be mistaken on that, but I believe they had a CCD sensor, and they attribute that to the D3 as well, that color that they used to get out of those older cameras, right? The D300S, the 5D,
Yeah.
the original 5D2, I
Yeah,
think, and all.
the 300 had a nice sensor too as well. The
Right.
700 was just like the D700 was by itself, the D850
Mm,
by itself, the
mm.
D500 was by itself because that gave, yeah, they had some good. Nikon had some nice points in it, but Sony just made them seem the butt of all
Yeah,
jokes now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am your father.
We have some comments here. Philwood says the new 70 to 200 GM2. Huh. I don't know if you all saw that lens. It's supposed to.
No
Well,
It's a
interest whatsoever.
it's supposed to have dealt with all the issues that persons had with the original 70 to 200 GM. I
Which was
personally
what?
didn't have those issues. They said that the GM, the original 70 to 200, had issues with the build. Like, because of the tech Sony put into it at the time, it was not as reliable in
It's too
terms of.
fragile.
Not reliable. Yeah, they said it's fragile. So you will get copy variances. So your copy will be sharp, mine not so sharp, and so on.
okay.
Over time, I had 3 copies, and to me all were sharp, but persons
Cut
complain
it
about
to a
that.
joy.
Yeah,
Phil said does need Viagra. Well said, well said. That's Owen,
that's
I think
that.
you should take that one and carry it to bed tonight.
You know
It
what I
doesn't
mean
need
there,
Viagra.
Owen? The 70 to 200 GM don't. You don't know that. We ain't talking about UFBs. We talk about
It's
for the
about
No,
what
as
it
persons
for
that
the
don't
is.
ends.
know, is the Canon RF
Yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah, but
extends
so what? All that 20, 40, 70. What them thing does do?
You get to
internal. What are you
use
talking about?
you get to use all of the lens at the same
You
time.
get to use all of the lens. Yeah. Me
Oh my
understand all that.
gosh. The Canon
So joke
RF
aside.
70 to 200 2.8 does
No, and
extend when you zoom
I
and
agree with
Nothing
Phil.
collapse.
wrong with that. You have
Right now,
that's
they
how
need that
zoom lenses
they
does
need
work.
they need some 24 to 70s that don't need Viagra as well. You understand? That would be
Why way?
revolutionary. Nah, I
But
tell
you,
you, I used to hear that
All of
yeah.
minor in me, all of major in
internal
minors.
focusing.
Relevant. Relevant,
Um,
relevant.
it's a grower, not a shower. A shower.
Till they look at
Um,
Phil,
them, till the pixel people. You understand?
Phil, we had to
Me and
bring
a
you on a
fellow
night,
sister.
boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
We go
also
send some
talk.
lights over to Tobago for him.
Yeah, yeah. We do that, by the way. If somebody wants to come on and they don't have stuff, we could send it over and you could come on to the stream with some good quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
Phil supposed to thing, man. So
I know
Sony
that.
user, they have dynamic range. He doesn't need no lights.
Oh Lord,
And that's what I say. And
Yeah.
oh Lord, Phil, why you put me in here, boy? We didn't even
yeah, but
touch.
yeah,
Sorry,
I was
I was
gonna say
going
that we even touched Sony and the
A74.
offerings.
Well, I mean,
Guys were waiting on this camera for 2 years now, I think.
For the
I,
E7 for?
Yeah, that because we had the A7 III, which was a revolutionary camera in terms of
yeah, yeah. That was,
mirrorless, offering a full frame camera. 4K at that time was still unheard of for full frame for the most part. unless you're doing external recording or you have a dedicated cinema camera. So 4K full frame. It could do 4K 30 with a very slight crop, very very slight, and you had 24 megapixels, a wicked autofocus. Still is
Yeah.
a great autofocus, and all of that for $2,000. That camera was like the Nikon D750 for Sony.
Yeah.
Basically it put Sony in a
On
place
the
where persons, yeah,
couldn't deny them. You couldn't deny the throne. Like when they
nothing
dropped
else
that, it's
compared.
like you just had to say, all right, Sony, look number one. Look number one. No fighter.
Yeah, and
Nobody else
why
could
though?
compare.
Because they had adapters that could use lenses from other people. They didn't have lenses
Fair,
ready at that point in
fair.
time. So, mm,
You
yeah.
didn't. So you're saying that the Sony A7 III had nothing for you there, when? Because you
Boy,
may fact.
I have no, when I tell you I have no interest, none.
Uh,
None, 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 none
All
in
right, all
Sony
right.
whatsoever.
but at the time, what did Canon have though?
I think they were still pumping the
60,
DSLRs at that
I
point.
60
think
Mark
so.
II.
I think so.
Yeah, but who gonna buy that though?
They had the 5D Mark IV, as
The
Phil say
Mark
here,
IV, Mark IVs,
was
yeah,
ridiculously expensive.
I wasn't looking at anything else.
Like
I
I
think.
personally
It was
feel
doing everything.
I
I
feel I
think.
might would like to have a Canon system eventually. One of the reasons why I feel like Canon is a nice roadmap to go with. I feel they have a lot. Well, I can't even say a lot of lenses. They have some unique lenses. They always seem like they want to push in the pipeline. Like look at this dual lens fisheye. Like you understand? So CN was showing us something about the metaverse being the future VR, AR technology. We have people who selling NFTs and those things. We don't know that lens might, as jokey as it might seem now, might be a lens that might have some kind of value,
Some
say,
relevance.
some relevance in a few years.
Who
Mm.
knows? Who knows? But we didn't finish even on the A7 IV. That's to tell you how revolutionary the A7 III was. And then Sony just kind of almost killed the other camera bodies, because that time they had the A7S II shooting 4K as well. But it
Yeah.
had a tendency to overheat, and the batteries were small, and it was still using contrast detect autofocus, which was not as smooth, and it would get the jitters and
That's
stuff.
spills. Real spill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Real
Then
spoiled.
yeah, we super spoiled. There's no camera dropped in the last 2 years or so is bad. Everything could work. If you can't get this stuff, then you are the problem.
Yeah, you need the blue pill.
Yeah.
Like when somebody have like I not to sound bad, but I remember I know someone they had a crop sensor. Like in my opinion, if you're upgrading cameras, don't tell me leave a Nikon with a crop sensor to jump over to Sony with a crop sensor.
Yeah.
That not making sense. That's like you leaving
It's the same sensor more or less.
you understand, jump to something bigger. So
I saw that Owen.
and not only that, sometimes you see people jump over to a system and the image is not looking up to par, and in their head,
Facts.
they probably feel so sick in their system and like, why really waste this money to switch for? You understand?
So we now have the A7 for people finally, and actually they only announced it. They have it available. Sorry, for pre-order. You still can't get it until technically 2022. Technically.
What? Fill nobody tree? I look at that.
What is it? Brendan saying? Hard drive and SSDs sales matching the megapixels. Yeah. The more resolution we have, the more storage we need to buy.
Yes.
100%.
Fortunately, those getting cheaper as well.
Fortunately, until we have the people doing mining and stuff. But A7 IV to the 3 megapixels. We now have 4K 60, albeit the 4K 60 is at a crop. And we still have the 4K 30 and 4K 24 all intra. So it's a pretty higher quality. You're getting more information from your sensor. It's 10-bit 422, I believe, internally. We don't know what it could do with a Ninja as yet, but it has the autofocus system from the Sony A1, which is stellar. What they also add was the video autofocus, no, animal eye AF
Animal,
in
yeah.
video. Yeah. So animal IF in video, 33 megapixels versus 24. They didn't really do anything on the rear screen, I think. Did you all see anything about the rear screen? I think that was a complaint. What else did it? They upped the viewfinder, the EVF, by a smidge. So it's still a cheap camera, and it's not really. I mean, it's not as
That's a
revolutionary.
marginal increase.
Yeah,
It's an increase
yeah.
nonetheless.
True. So it's like what Rani was saying earlier. It's evolutionary, I'm guessing, versus the DJI 4D, which is revolutionary. So probably, who knows, it might be like the EOS R, where when it initially dropped, people were a little underwhelmed. But with time and probably firmwares and improvements, it may really be a showstopper. Who knows?
That
But
was bandwagonist. I'm just like,
what is that? The EOS R?
when they was pung in the R, I was like, oh, this camera's so underwhelming.
And
everybody had
100%
one.
agree. Everybody was on board, and this is where we talk about where persons have to experience the camera for themselves and not just ride along on the bandwagon as they say in their own. You have one person review a camera online, and you so want to believe what this person is saying on YouTube. You take it as facts. You never experience it for yourself.
You never experience it.
Yeah, and I have had people argue with me. I mean, I don't know everything, but I've had people argue with me in person when they meet based on what they see a YouTuber said, and they give that YouTuber authority because they have a channel and viewers. Exactly.
I personally love the EOS R body over Sony. Like, I literally felt when you had the A7 II, I felt it in my hands, and I felt like if my hands started to pain me, just how small and cramped that body is. That was just my experience. I found the EOS R3 EOS R, not 3, when I got it from Owen and I held it in my hand. I was like, this feel at home. Like, I could upgrade to this just by feeling it.
I remember you said that.
And it just felt at home. I felt comfortable, and that matters to me. You understand? As much as the image quality, how it G.A.S feel in my hand matters to me because, I hold in that for 7-8 hours. Exactly. It must feel good.
Actually, you're dropping a point there, Rani. They also upgraded the form factor, so it's more akin to the A7S3, A7R4, A1. That kind of bigger body, slightly bigger body. The ergonomics, and they changed the exposure compensation dial. They have a button to lock it now, and it's also customizable, so you could actually use it to adjust white balance, ISO, that kind of stuff. That is the dial on the back. I don't have my S3 here to show you, but they made some adjustments. Oh, if you are a hybrid shooter, they now introduced a switch dedicated to switching from photo to video.
Like Nikon.
Tell me about it. Nikon was doing this.
Come on, man.
How long now, Rani? How long now?
I feel since I own a Nikon, the 7000, I was always there. You understand?
Tell me about it. They're doing stuff. They're taking feedback, which is great. But yeah. A7 IV is still a pretty decent option.
And I'm telling you, Nikon could easily level the playing field by just working on giving people the cameras.
Yeah, Phil. Canon had the switch as well. But does the switch on top by the mode dial there? They have a switch there going from photo to video. Quick. So hopefully the buffer is deep enough where you could just snap, flip video, flip, and you're back again on photo going down the line. Hybrid shooter stuff. Okay. Sorry about that. Just dealing with
Kyle, I was actually thinking the same thing as they spoke about listening to the people. Yeah, how they brought back the ports. It was just as an exciting thing back in the day. 2 USB ports.
You never know what you missed till it gone, eh?
Now, real people complain about it, eh? And it's happy that they came back. So
I happy to get rid of that touch bar. You know?
Yeah, that wasn't making sense.
That was
full size HDMI, SD card.
Yeah,
With
that
that ports on
eliminates so
either
many
side,
dongles. Like
MagSafe.
if you look
Yeah,
at
I wasn't
the
looking forward
LG
to that dongle life, no?
the LG Ultrafine monitor that I have my eyes on. You just have to plug that in with one HDMI cable and basically connect
Right.
two monitors behind with a USB cable, and that's it right
In
there,
one.
all from one port. Yeah, you
Well,
understand?
that's good
That's
for
it.
the M1. The M1 could only do one monitor.
Yeah,
Yeah, the M1X and M1 Pro could do multiple. I'm sorry,
but
M1
you could
Max.
with the M1 do multiple,
Max.
but it's not native. I think there's a workarounds for it, but not native.
Gotcha,
So it means you
gotcha.
might well be limited to a 60 hertz.
That's the next thing as well. I'm not sure about that. That's the next or something. So it's like a lot of people would just be like for me, I love my dual monitor setup. So get an M1 Pro and done. You understand?
Gotcha, gotcha. Anything else you want to talk? Oh, as I mentioned, full size HDMI. The E74 has a full size HDMI now, so no more of
Yeah, I
Yes, I
those.
noticed
saw
that.
that.
That's huge, especially with persons live streaming and stuff now. That's huge. That's such a lifesaver. Anything
Unless
else
you're
you want
using
to touch on
Canon,
there?
so you don't really need them.
But Canon still a mini though, unless
Yeah,
I
with
go
Canon, you
cinema.
just need the USB cable guy.
With
Oh,
Nikon, all you need is a USB-C
Ooh.
cable.
but the A74 now operates just like a webcam. So yes, you're using the USB, but literally as you plug it in, you know, like when you plug in a webcam, your computer sees it as a webcam. That is
Mm-hmm.
the case now for the A74. There's no need to use additional software or anything like that.
Well,
Straight.
Nikon one
And
is like
Okay.
that. You don't see the Nikon utility software popping up at all. As you plug it in, it
okay,
recognizes it as a webcam. Like that's what I'm actually doing right now. I just have a
serious.
USB-C cable plugged in. No
Yeah.
Nikon utility software pops up. It runs in the
Uh,
background, and that's it.
Now this one's still a little easier, and when you plug it in as well, you get the option on the back where it shows. I think like most cameras limited to like 720 or 1080.
Mm-hmm.
720 through the USB
Yeah,
native.
somebody was referencing that to me. I never noticed that.
Yeah. So the A74 now allows you to do up to 4K. I think it was 4K 15 or some shippiness like that. I don't know.
Perhaps.
Yeah, it's a cap, I believe, based on the bandwidth of the USB, but at the same time, you could still
But that's
do
good.
1080 60. Yeah, 1080 60, and you're allowed to choose it on the back of the camera. Once you plug it in, it pops up, and you pick it out from there one time. So
Okay, that's fancy.
exactly. So it's evolutionary, not revolutionary, like the DJI weird Turkey camera.
Okay,
Turkey
camera.
thing. Yeah.
In a 40.
Yes, if we Brendan
I wouldn't
saying
forget now.
Fuji needs to take those notes. You could imagine um doing a live stream with a medium format guy.
You would just be coasting on everybody. Everybody would
Yeah.
look like
Something on
stick men.
every
Yeah,
yeah.
well, look how good Conrad looking over here. You understand? We over
Yeah,
here
you're trying
looking
to say I'm
jittery,
not attractive,
jittery.
or you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But as the C70 through the ATEM, so we can give the C70 all the joy. The ATEM handling it.
So you're saying basically if me and Owen just slap on a little ATM, we could look for a little better quality.
Yeah, it should
Ideally,
help.
because that would be doing the processing.
Yeah, it will take the signal as a 1080 and then it send it back into the camera and handle all the exchange there.
Alright.
We have to start winding down. I mean,
Yeah.
Sian, you were missed tonight. If you're hearing us,
Oh!
you were missed. What's that?
Don't forget
What?
end of month DJI. What is next week? New drone, Mavic 3. Mavic 3.
I think the same. I heard from a buddy Mavic 3 isn't until the first week in November. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
what you
yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure. Sorry, I made a mistake. Is it Eternal?
But they have a next announcement next week.
Yeah, but that is just some
The action camera.
Yeah, that don't leak already. So yeah, yeah.
Man, flip
Yeah,
on it,
good.
yes.
What's in the internet or
The
everybody?
only thing I worried about for the Mavic 3 Pro, based on
Mm.
some leaks that I'm seeing, is the price, boy. I feel like they
Well,
rate me.
what are you seeing?
I
2500?
see in 2,500, boy. They're like, no.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's in the 1500.
Boy,
Boy, I don't
2,500,
maxed
boy.
out. I don't maxed out.
Let me go back to a little Air or Air 2S and be happy, yes?
Boy,
You
who
understand?
knows? Who knows? Again, we had to cut it off tonight. Anything else you all
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
drop? Owen, Rani, anything? Anybody you want to shout out? Anything?
I just good for the time. We just look forward to having Phil on the live one day. We go set them up,
One
as
day.
you know. If you
One
want
day.
to jump on the live, we send the equipment to you. You might get a little Nova Storm. You might get an Amron. You don't know. You understand? You don't know what you'll get.
Phil getting newer. He like Godox and newer and them thing. That's what he get. He get aperture nothing. And he a dynamic range. He need them.
Once they can't run falling asleep.
We can send him a mic.
You get it from.
We can send him a mic.
I know where you get it from. All right, so let's wrap it up. Thanks again, guys, for following through with us. I mean, you all are the best. Ever since the start, you all have been supporting us, and we want to thank you very, very much. Again, please share. I mean, if you're liking it as well on the pages, don't forget we have CCS Caribbean Creative Space. We also have the group.
And join, man. Like and join. We could carry on the whole talking there anytime.
Facts. But again, we want to wrap it up for tonight. Thanks again for sticking with us. This was fun. I just want to say good night. We have Rani at Rani Horn Photos.
And Tech Horn.
No. We had to put a slash in.
Yeah.
AKA Island Finance, AKA Sauce Up, man. We had some titles.
AKA Small Bunks.
Forget that, boy.
We have Owen of Bruce Lights and Canvas. I mean, Mr. Pro Photo, I don't know why they're still calling it Owen for. That's their name.
Yeah, that's right.
And myself, Conrad of Affordable Imports. Yeah, thanks again for joining us. And this is G.A.S. Have a good night.
Night, folks.